Hey everybody, welcome to Shifty's Club. Today is Limited Modified Format Monday, and that means to talk about the Limited Modified Format. Today is going to be pretty much a deck that's been Tier 1 for since 2 years ago, but it's seen very good success at the World Championships, and I believe it's about time to start talking about it. With the addition of the Plasma Blast set, literally like right after Worlds, we get two cards that have been hyped up and down, and that's Virizion-EX and Genesect-EX. Of course, people had to start making this a deck, and because they worked so well together, it only seemed natural for them to partner up, and boy did they ever. The only question was, how would this deck gain enough consistency to be able to compete? Well, that's a great question. People started realizing that just the G booster, which discards 2 energy and does 200 damage, was one of the coolest cards. But you had to discard 2 energy. Luckily, Virizion-EX can cover that, as its attack allows you to, it's called Emerald Slash, and for 50 damage, you also attach 2 grass energy from your deck to one of your bench Pokemon. And I think that's pretty cool, because you pretty much just attach it to Genesect, attach another one the next turn, get the G booster, and hit for 200 damage. Not bad. However, there was some controversy surrounding it, and people started really questioning this deck. A very popular deck that was out at the time was Raybor. Now, the best part about this is that their main attacker was a dragon type and not a fire type. Problem was, it already one-shot everything for a knockout. So this deck was very problematic for Virizion Genesect. Luckily, they have cards like uh, Plasma Energy to go along with Genesect-EX's Red Signal ability. Now, the best part about this is Genesect can, you can attach Plasma Energy to it and pick a Pokemon off their bench and swap it. Now, there is a few problems with this strategy. First off, G-Booster is an A-Spec, and you can only run one of it in your deck. So, what players did here was they ran Shadow Triad in order to combat the discarding of this card. But with the release of Phantom Forces, we get VS Seeker. This card completely changed the way that we view the format. But the best thing about this card was that you could continue to recycle your Shadow Triad over and over to get out the Plasma Energy or the G Booster, which was a Team Plasma card. But it's more due to the fact that Genesect-EX itself was a Plasma Pokemon, and it required Plasma Energy to use its ability, so it's only natural that G Booster and G Scope were Plasma cards as well. So, with that being said, people just absolutely hit the nail in the coffin right there. Just basically, the G Booster works. And with the Phantom Forces set coming out, you don't have to run 2 or 3 Shadow Triad. You could run 1 or 2 and continuously pull it out with VS Seeker. Of course, Jirachi-EX can search it straight out, and then one of your 4 VS Seeker could pull it out again and again if needed. Of course, the energy that you use, as far as the plasma energy, is usually what you search back out. Because unless Genesect-EX gets knocked out, G-Booster really doesn't leave the field. And Startling Megaphone has started to die down because of all the one-hit knockouts that are being produced in Pokemon today. Not saying it's not still good, because it is still running. Another very weird thing that people liked about it, that rose it, that literally not rose it, shot it to the top of the metagame, was the fact that the G Booster did not count as an attack. Basically, it wasn't Genesect-EX's attack, it was just using that as its attack. And I thought it was pretty cool that there's several things that you can get around just based on this card alone. I thought that was awesome. And I'm not going to go through every one of them. You guys can, it'd be a nice little homework or research project for you guys. Not saying I'm your teacher, because I'm not. But anyway, it'd be a really nice thing to actually go and look and see what all G Booster can get around. And when I seen it, I was amazed. Basically, they have rulings on the G Booster and G Scope. So many different things it overcomes. And basically, half the format at that time could literally shoot Virizion Genesect right in the foot, and they couldn't respond. But with G Booster, it makes a load of difference. But I found a way to run Virizion Genesect without the G Booster. Now, obviously, Genesect-EX is going to still have to use its red signal ability. Instead, though, I'm going to be attacking with Trevenant-EX. Now, I know it's not everybody's favorite Pokemon to think about, but Trevenant-EX is a very smooth attacker. Basically, what it does is, for 3 colorless, it does 50 plus 20 for each grass energy attached to it. Now, with 2 Pokemon in Virizion-EX and Shaymin-EX who can get this done, you have very prominent potential in this format. Now, why would you ever run Shaymin though? Well, it's not for the 1 energy, even though it's a very good asset to have whenever Virizion-EX is unable to pull up 2 energy and be able to get that turn 2 attack. If you're going second, you would like to get an extra energy onto the field and basically energy switch one of the energy over to Virizion-EX and be able to attack again. Well, Shaymin also has an attack that allows you to count the number of prize cards your opponent has taken and does 30 plus 30 for each prize card. And that is a heap of an attack. And I actually, for one, love this attack. And the reason why is because late game, you don't need a muscle band. You don't need a Hypnotoxic Laser or Verbank City Gym. All you need is a couple energy and a Pokemon. And I love it. But Trevenant-EX is a very great Pokemon to literally be attacking with. And the reason why is because you have a lot of options. I prefer Virizion Genesect and then place Trevenant and a Shaymin Tech in here. But people have also tried out Sceptile, which is probably one of the coolest Stage 2 Pokemon I've seen. Its ability, attach a grass energy from your hand to one of your Pokemon and heal 30 damage from it. Ow, that hurts. Wow. That is amazing. But I think one of the coolest things about this is that the Sceptile, what it does is, aside from being Stage 2, it gets the energy acceleration to going from the bench. And that's what I like about it. But of course, we're getting a new card in Wally. which is going to really help the format out. It's pretty much already been declared that Wally's going to be in this next set. So, and what it does is basically search your deck for, it's a supporter card, search your deck out for a Pokemon and put it onto one of your Pokemon that evolve from it, and it counts as evolving, and you can even use this on your first turn, or if the Pokemon was played down this turn. So it's a supporter card of an Evosoda, but it has a better effect that you can use it a turn early. And that's not bad at all, especially when you can use, say, on turn 2, you could use an Evosoda on a Pokemon that's played on turn 1 and then follow up with a Wally's. That is cool. No rare candy needed. Wow. So think of how many stage 2 Pokemon this opens up for. Sceptile, Shifty can use this to accelerate the grass game so well. In the extended format, you have Venusaur. Search your deck for a Pokemon, which is a great grass type Pokemon. If you could do that every turn, and seeing how it's a pretty good Pokemon, then yeah, I think it's pretty cool, pretty hype. Anyway, that being said, there's several grass Pokemon that can benefit from this card, but Sceptile would probably be the best option. And in my opinion, I'd have to say that if you can get Sceptile to work, go for it. Otherwise, I would just stick to the big basics, or the 3 big basics and 1 little basic, if you know what I mean. Shaman is not bulky at all. And I guess that's why people don't want to run it. But even as a 1 or 2 count, you could still run it to basically show that, hey, I want to make sure that I get grass energy out, or I want to get that last knockout for the win. Like, say, opponent's got has taken 4 prizes, 150 damage, plus a muscle band, can knock out an Yveltal with only a couple energy. I don't have to power up a Trevenant completely for this Pokemon, and I already suck at the Yveltal matchup. That's why I have to have Genesect doing some sort of attacking here. And that's the only reason why you'd run G-Booster, is against the Yveltal matchup and any of those high energy count matchups. But other than that, G-Booster's not really required, but it's still good to have. And there's really no other spec that you can use. But yeah, just like I said, the deck is great. I've actually tried this deck, the online, of course. um, the deck is not. I'm not going to say it's the best, because it's not. I'll admit it. It's not the best, but it is a good deck. It has a perfect round of consistency, and the best part about this deck is there's absolutely no room for error. Basically, unless you're playing against a deck like Seismitoad, where all you have to do is attach a couple energy to Virizion, then you could be, doing plenty of damage. But if you're playing against things like Manectric and Yveltal, you have to play a perfect game in order to win. Because, I mean, let's just face it, with Skynarrow Bridge gone, with several other cards gone, you guys know what I'm talking about. Anyway, with those cards gone, it is very difficult to keep playing a perfect and consistent game. So obviously you have to think about your moves very well, and even some of your top players still have to go almost perfect in order to get a lot done with this deck. There's several matchups that it absolutely has to play perfectly against. There's some where it doesn't even have to try at all. And then there's some you can luck out in. There's some that you have no shot even if you do play well. There's some that you can win a lot if you play well. And That's basically all I have on the deck. Is like I said, it's a great consistent deck, but unless you know exactly what you are doing, you have to play perfectly to do well with this deck. But anyway, that's all I got for today, guys. If you haven't subscribed, make sure to subscribe. Post any comments you have in the comment section down below. And as always, I hope you guys have as great time as I had, and I'll see you guys next time at Shifty's Club.